Good night, guys. Can everybody hear me? Could you please confirm? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, let's see. First of all, I would like to apologize for the two last weeks. I have my mother's in the hospital, and I have not been so present in the chat room. But hopefully next week everything goes back to normal. Yeah, she's getting better. So this week is gonna be a good week. Just went there. I spent this entire weekend with her, so it's gonna be good. She's getting better. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, let's start with the futures, and after we're done, we can start checking some stocks. So, thank you, Romario. Thank you, Lob. Thank you, Kutz. So this is what I was talking on the chat room. We have this 30-16-82 pivot on the futures on S&P 500. And let me see if I can remove this real quick because this is old stuff. We have to draw new case scenarios. We should have something like remove all trend lines or something like that. Anyways, right here, that's what I was explaining. We have the bounce from here, and we push here, and we couldn't hold. And when we came back down, we did that bear flag retest on the 30-16. And once we couldn't hold, this is what the algos did to the S&P right here. And that's our preferable setup right there, which is the push through, can hold, retest, and then drops, gives another leg down. And we bounce right there on this level that we have been watching for a long time. And now we were testing this here once more. Remember, we were below and it was hard to get above it. Now we're gonna go for the same thing. What we don't want to do if we're bullish on this, it's the same thing that happened here to happen on this lower zone. So try to push and do that bear flag on this pivot, something like this, and then go down. So it really needs to reclaim this 3005. Otherwise, we're gonna most likely gonna back down. So on this one, we're gonna have a very defined key support and key resistance. So let's go here so we can mark it better. So our key resistance is going to be this 3,005.91, and our key support is going to be this previous main weekly pivot, which is by coincidence, which we don't believe in coincidence, but it's at the main daily pivot for today, Monday. And the main weekly for the next week, which starts, for ES already started, but for us starts tomorrow on the SPY and other stocks. So the key support is gonna be, let me find it, 29.97.50, 29.98.17. If we lose this, most likely we're gonna come back down and retest this key. Oops, I think I did something wrong. We're going to retest this key zone one more time. And now you can see that this zone is divided by 3 pivots. You have the 29.86.10, 29.90.83, and 29.92.85. What can happen? Let me remove this. I really dislike stuff on my chart, so This is going to be on the video. You guys can go back and check. If we lose this, what can happen? We can bounce from the top of this zone, which is going to be 29.90, 83, 29.92. And if we bounce there, then this is going to happen right here. If we bounce from here, it's going to most likely reject this on the first try. And then we need to hold either a high or low at this 1995. You have all these blocks over here from Friday, or on the top of this zone, instead of the 29.90, needs to hold 29.92, and then try to push and go back up. As of right now, is not looking great, but per our rules, as long as above the main daily pivots, then we're still on a bullish territory. So we have to treat it like that unless you are short from here. So if you're short from here, then that's better than trying to short here. Like we always talk, we never short on key support, right? We always try to short on key resistance. So if you don't have a position right now, all you have to do is wait, or you can try a long and have a stop loss below here. That's the only thing to do right now, and you have to see if it's worth it, because right now it's at the midpoint. We always want to get as close as possible as those key levels. Let's see. Here is going to be our next zone. So 30.15.82, 30.18, and they have this midpoint here, 30.16.82. And we talk about if you break this, most likely you're going to test this next pivot right here at 76.76. So on the higher time frame, if you guys can see, it's still doing higher lows. Let's go back a little bit so I can show you the difference. When it was back here, where is it? It's been so long. I want to find a perfect example. Still higher lows. Here, yeah, I can't find it right now, but so as long as it holds that key zone, we can try to do another push. This is the all-time high, no, but the next key zone, if we break all-time high, is going to be this here, 30, 30, 30, 30, 33 and 30, 38.98. That's going to be the next issue on ES, if we can break this all-time high. If you check, you see here, it's a higher low, lower high, and then if you fail here, it's going to be another lower high, right? So as long as it holds a higher low from here, we may still try to have that squeeze pattern. It's still doing the lower highs here, which is doing kind of a triangle pattern, right? So it needs to keep holding these higher lows here for a chance to break this pattern to the upside. If it can't keep doing the start doing higher highs here, then most likely we're gonna go back down. Let's check NQ. NQ is the Qs, NASDAQ. So let's check what we see. So, yeah, this one is looking more bearish than the SPY. See, this one for me looks more bearish. You see how important is this level all over here, and then push up, retested here, and push, went back, gap down, then went right straight there, came back. So this is an important level. We went back down, retested, couldn't break twice. Now it needs to hold this pivot here, which is 78.6833. If it can't hold, then we're gonna have that confirmation. But for me, it's looking bearish, just because it's doing this bear flag on this zone, which is 7887, 7889. So it's doing this bear flag here. Now let me open something so I can get some pivots borrowed. Okay, I want one of this right here. Mark. Oops. Okay, there you go. So we're testing right at the bottom of that key support line. So all this is gonna be resistance. And this is the key support. It's trying to hold. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if we can bounce from here. Still doing, you see the lower highs, that lower high pattern right there. It's doing lower highs as well. So lower lows, lower highs. So if it can't break above this, most likely it's going to fail at some point during the day. So keep an eye on that on the futures. I don't know if you guys know, but when I'm trading SPY or Qs or JNUG or UGAS, any of those, I always use my futures chart, because this is where the ETFs can come from. And I don't know if you guys know, but there are decays on the ETFs. So sometimes you have a move and the futures go to the same price level that was before, but the ETF doesn't quite get there, because you have that decay that naturally happens on ETFs, mostly the ones that are 3 leveraged ones. So that's why I always follow this, because if it rejects here, it's going to reject. It rejects on the Qs. It doesn't matter where the Qs are. If it rejects on the NQ, it's going to happen the same thing on the Qs. So let's check natural gas. Yeah, we pretty much called the top on this. It's not like all this the definite top is gonna go all the way back down. No, but we call many times. Don't forget to take your profits on this zone. It was a very strong zone, and sure thing went back down. Now, at this point, we're looking where we wanted to buy it again, where we're gonna buy back, right? So the only spot I would think about is either if this can reclaim and stay inside the zone, then you can consider taking a long with stop right below it in case it breaks under again, or a dip to this zone here. So either a dip to 2.456, 2.474, or a reclaim of this zone right here, which is 2.519, 2.536. Remember the 2.50 is important level. So let's see if we can hold and then push back up in here. Now let's check intraday. So we are trading way below the daily pivot, which is 2.54. So we are on bearish territory until it can reclaim this, like we talk about. So if you can at least reclaim the bottom and show some strength, you could take a long on new gas or even futures if you play futures, and keep it tight. Maybe below here, maybe even below 250, just depending on their position sizing. We already talked about how to calculate your position sizing, so I'm not going to go back to that at the moment. But if you want to keep it tight, just put it below this consolidation area here, which is almost right here. So let's say if you reclaim there, you can put at 2.5013, for example, and see if we can reclaim. Once it's testing above here on this top, if it goes there, remember to take a partial in case it just go back down. If we can't hold, we're expecting for here to come here to watch for a long setup. It bounced very nice on that 250 that we talked about. So we'll see if we can get that reclaim. If we were watching this, 250 was a very nice level to dip by on this push back down and couldn't hold under. You see here, try to push, but it was bought up very quickly and then came back down, retest again and bought up. So you could have tried it here and put a stop loss right below this wick, and it will be in the green right now. It just moved the stop a little bit above it, but we were not watching at that time. So, but just showing you how I would be watching to enter those. Let's check oil. All right. That was a look. If we have that zone marked, when it was starting to push, we mark all these zones here. And sure enough, it rejected there. It gave you multiple signs that it was going to have a pullback. This was a strong rejection. Then we came back up and reject again. Once you start doing this bear flag here, is a bear flag, right? Once you broke this bear flag, you could have shorted the oil, shorted oil on that setup. Copper, yeah. What is the ticker for copper? We can check that in a little bit. So yeah, that was the key resistance right there. Now we need to hold this. This is a very important pivot. We had a market here. Let me extend it. So we bounced it a few times from there. We push through and we are validating the top of it. So if it holds the top, we may come and retest this here, which that's going to be our weekly main pivot. So we can see a push and then probably a rejection if there is no news, if it's just bought up, and then retest, needs to hold the zone, and then we can see another push to the next zone right there. Now on the day is bullish, which is a good sign. The daily pivot is right there above the top of that zone that we talk about, the 58.47. So it is a good sign that we had some chance that we're gonna go test these levels here. So it could be, if you stay right here, it could be a good thing to watch UWT tomorrow. Let's check gold. All right. Needs to hold this. See how it's reclaimed this zone? Now it needs to hold above it, which is what it's trying to do right now, for a chance to break above this zone right here. So yeah, it needs to hold the top of this. I wouldn't even like it to test the bottom anymore. If you can hold just the top and then push through, it would be perfect. So hold the top, push, maybe reject this yearly pivot at first, but then back test down. If it holds, we're probably going to retest this level here, right here. And then, where is it? Right here. Then go back down, needs to hold this pivot for a push. Come on. A push to the next zone. So this is the next, right here. Intraday is trading well above the daily pivot, which is providing extra support to the bottom of that zone. So it needs to break, it needs to hold above the previous close line, which is right here, 15.2440, for a chance to go over here. If it doesn't hold, most likely going to test the top of the zone like we talked about, and then it needs to hold for a push. Let's see. HG. Okay, let me copy. Copper futures. Well, it is not being able to hold this, the daily pivot, which is 2.6038. If you can't hold it, then at some point the buyer is going to give up, right? Let's mark, let me steal this color. Right there. So this is the key support line. One sec. Let me mark this one too. Oops. Let me look at the high time frames a little bit more, since we never checked this one before. Just want to make sure we're not forgetting anything. Right, let me grab this one, and I'm gonna mark here, mark this one here, this one here, this one here. Oops, not perfect, right there. All right, so we have some lines to look at it. So our key support zone is gonna be right here. And this is gonna be the resistance, key resistance, right there. You have a midpoint here at 2.61 from Friday trading. You see how that pivot was holding as support all the way through the day until it came back down. When it retested, it couldn't reclaim like it did here, and then just this happened. So that's gonna be also gonna be a level right there, which is 2.6115. But as you can see, that is not being able to hold above that 2.638, 2.661. So you can have, if you want, I'm not even gonna mark the price level, but maybe have this as your less deep buy opportunity. Let's put it like that. If it breaks below that, most likely it's gonna go back here and retest this zone. So far it's looking bearish below the pivots. Now, I think somebody requested another futures play. SI, okay. Let's check SI, which is silver if I'm not mistaken. And then we start with the stocks. It's been a while we don't check this one. Look where we were checking when it was right here. We have no lines. Manually draw above that. So reject that their yearly pivot right there. Came back down to this yearly pivot and bounce from here. This is a very strong cluster because we have three different time frames right there, and all of them are strong. So bounce from there, 1, 2, 3, came up and hold the weekly main pivot and push. Now let's have this right here. So I would say the key support for this is gonna be right here. You have 1, 2, 3 pivots. You have the VWAP. What one is this? That's the 50 SMA of the 5-minute. So you have a lot of stuff going on there. But the pivots is the most important part. So you have a pivot zone that needs to hold here. And if it can't hold, this is the last line of defense right here. 1790, 17.935, 17.975. If we can hold that, first resistance above it is 18.5, and above is this is gonna be the rough one right here, 18.88, 18.928. All right. Now let's start with the stocks. Let me just take a note. I check all those so we can put on the description of the video. So we have this one and have SI. Okay, let's start with our favorite, ROKU. So that short was the best, huh? Look at that. Whoever got that, whoever got this set up here is very happy right now. Now, if you lose that, remember we talked about this being a bear flag. This was we talk about We talk about this being a bear flag on Roku right here. If we couldn't break above this 153.57, which it couldn't. So once we broke below this 147.37, which was the yearly pivot, our key support zone, the algos just went nuts. Just went nuts. Look at that drop. Boom. Now it bounced, and when it was right here, it closed above the main monthly pivot, which fooled a lot of people right there. If you're trying to buy this and you think this is gonna gap up because it's closing above the pivot zone, then what happened? We have that bad news about the pivotal downgraded them to 65 bucks, which is, in my opinion, is ridiculous. But it happened, and everybody panicked and sold the heck out of this Friday. Once it broke, gap down below this pivot at 133.60, guys, that was game over. All right. Now let's check this out. This is intraday. This is our pivot right here. So this was the gap, the close of the day, which was looking like it was gonna hold this and push more. Then it came the bad news. So once it's below this, it's gonna be bearish, right? Look what happened when market opened. We were trading below this key level, 127.49. We tried to push above it, but we couldn't. We could just enter this as soon as the market opened. It was a very clear short setup based on this 127.49 pivot. Let me draw for you guys. So we came here. I'm copying exactly what's happened over here. So we came back down, tried to hold it, couldn't hold it, did a lower high, a lower low, push right here, and as soon as the market was going to open, it lost it. So that's when you can enter short and have your stop right above this lower high right here. So your stop will have been about $1. Let's say $1 is more than less than $1, but let's say it's $1, and you will have catch just a $24 drop from Roku. It never gave any reason to sell. Why do I say that? Just play the pivots, right? That's what we play, the levels. So short here because it couldn't hold, then it came back down. What are we gonna do? Put a stop loss either above the pivot, use a mental stop loss. So if you close above the pivot and hold, we're out, right? Well, it couldn't. It tried very quickly and was rejected. So no stop loss there. So it came back to here where you're gonna put your stop loss on a close above this pivot, 122.36. What happened? Try once, couldn't close above it. Twice, couldn't close above it. 3 times, couldn't close above it. We're still in the trade. Then what happened? Flushed to here, went above, couldn't hold, and flushed more. Flushed more. So you keep trailing this. It never had a reason to sell. If you guys see, you always reject the push up of the pivot. Every single time you reject the push above the pivot. Now this was the time that I really thought we were going to bounce from here, which is the yearly pivot. But it was so weak, it couldn't do it. Would you buy here? Yeah, I would have bought there with a stop loss below it, which would have been stopped out very quickly. This one was a zone also we had. It couldn't do the same. It's the same thing. It fooled people a little bit on every single time, but it rejected the top of the zone every single time. Rejected the top, and then went back down. It bounced off this 103 I think it was Meisner. He was asking me where I would buy Roku. And I said, I would try to buy at, what was it? At 108.38. But you have to keep it tight, because if it doesn't hold, it's going to go to 105 and 103.45. And if hopefully he was watching this, which I was not, unfortunately, I would have definitely bought over here on this 103.45, 103.97 zone right here. With the same thing, just a stop loss if you close under the zone, and could take a partial at the next pivot. Remember, if you're trying to catch a falling knife, you have to be quick. You don't want to hold your entire position hoping it's going to reverse, because remember, you can always add back in, right? So let's say you were short over here, took a partial. When you saw it hold a higher low here on this previous supply and demand zone here, then you could have added back in and then go long and take partial on this previous zone here. Probably gonna get stopped out on this sell off on the end of the day. But it would be a good trade if you were taking those pivots. But the money was on the short side for sure. And Sophie did a great job doing that short. And man, that was so cool. That was so nice. That was a great trade right there. But this was the best one right here. Remember we talked about, that's what, 70 points now? That's amazing, amazing. But yeah, now where we're gonna buy Roku, guys? That's the question, the $5 million question. Where are we gonna buy Roku? So this is a very, very, very strong zone right here. The 101.11 to the 103.45, 103.97. As you guys see, you have all this going on for months. Is this month? Yeah, 2 months right there. And so if it doesn't hold this, guys, it's gonna go to 95, 96 right here on this pivot. But if it holds, then we're probably gonna have a retest to from here 108, and then retest is 114, 111, 114. So yeah, if you guys are willing to try, those are the only levels I would take if I were you. Watch it Monday, see where it goes. You have very strong resistance at the levels we talk about. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 pivots on the zone here. You have 8 pivots. So the best thing that will happen for Roku would be a gap up above it. Wait, 1 second. I don't know why it's not showing more. Oh, okay. Was people were mistake. So this is the key resistance on Roku. You go all the way from 111.77 to 114.65. The best thing that happens for Roku would be some sort of gap above it. But this is the catch. It needs to hold. If it doesn't hold, if it gaps up and doesn't hold, then it's going to be all bad. It's probably going to go 96. So we'll see how it happens, how it shakes tomorrow. Have those key zones marked in your chart, and don't try to play stuff in between, because it can just turn around, fail in between, come back here and bounce, but you already stopped out and you're going to be pissed, and we don't want anybody to be messed up with the mental game, which is the most important part of trading. Okay. So Roku, Netflix. I have a message. Let me check. Okay, so Netflix look bearish in my opinion. If you guys, this is a engulfing bearish engulfing candle. What is a bearish engulfing? Is when the next candle bodied the entire um, not bodied, but it's, how do I say, the high and the low of the current candle is includes the high, the close and the open of the previous candle, right? I mean, the close and the open of the current candle includes the close and the open of the previous candle. So this is the close of the previous candle, and this is the high of the open of the previous candle right here. This green here, as you can see, this big red candle, it includes the entire, the close and the, oh gosh, sorry guys, I'm so confused today. I think I'm still thinking about other stuff, but so going back to what I was saying, this candle engulfs everything on the previous candle, right? So it looks at bearish. This is a bearish formation. So I do think that we're gonna have more downside on Netflix. Now to where, right? To where, that is the question. Let me borrow this. We have, you see this previous monthly pivot? That's what I'm marking right there. And I want a purple line. Purple line for this one. And may I borrow one of these as well and mark this one. Okay. This is, oh my gosh, okay. Right there. So those are the key support lines. Look where we bounce on Netflix Friday. Right from that previous pivot point to 65.79. Now, this is the thing, if Netflix can't break above this, then it's gonna go back down, retest that, and resume the downside. So this is the key resistance right here, which is 273.08, 273.50. And above that, in case we break and hold, is gonna be right here, which is 277.77, 278.63. Now this is the main weekly pivot. We may still go above that, but if we can't hold, then we're still bearish on the week. So we'll see how it happens. Below this, the key support is going to be 259.38, 261.79, and then you have a speed bump at 258.12, and next key support is 253.65, 255.31. Okay, so basically tomorrow I'm going to be looking for a short setup on Netflix. I would not mind at all if it goes to 278, but this is the first target to watch for a short setup right here. But if it goes there, it's going to be a more higher time frame setup. Let's check AZO. Oops. Yes, it engulfs the previous candle. Thank you, Clutch. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, so AZO is not going anywhere until it doesn't break above this level here, which is the 1166.46. Until we can't break and hold above it, we are not going anywhere. Now the key support is going to be 111, 1,155.59. That's going to be our key support. Once we break that, most likely we're going to retest here 1147. So let me mark that so we know exactly what's going on. I think my mouse is pranking me today. So 1147.42 if you can hold here. But so far it's rejected multiple times. It's still doing the higher lows, but it can be that bear flag setup. So make sure if you want to take a long, either you try on the key support or you try on a break and retest and hold of this 1166.46. If it does hold, the next higher time frame target would be the 1178. But for me, it's looking more bearish than bullish. The only problem that we have is that we have earnings tomorrow before market. So anything that we're doing here doesn't matter. But let's see, we can do projections, right? Let's check what is the implied move. $61.50. Wow. Okay. So $61. 59 plus 61. So 1220. Yeah, so if we beat, most likely we're gonna retest this 33 level with an overshoot to 64. So the first target on an earnings beat is gonna be this 1230s right here and overshoot at 1264. 1 million worth of puts. Okay. So let's see what is the downside target. 1159 minus 61. 1098. So if we lose, if we miss earnings, let me grab a purple. I need a purple pivot. So if we lose, we're gonna be targeting. My goodness. If we lose, we're gonna be targeting this 1101 with an overshoot between 1165 and 1180.31. Most likely 1180. But if it's really bad, I would not be surprised to see the 65 and 49 pivots to be tested. This is a very strong zone here. So we may try to bounce from here if we miss earnings. Now, if earnings is really bad, don't be surprised to have all the way to $1,000. That would be too much, though. That would be what, 2 times the expected move, which we've seen it before. We've seen 3-4 times before, 3 times, 4 times more than implied move. It's always going to depend on the guidance on this. But again, this is a very strong zone on AZO. So if we miss, the target is going to be around here. Let's see what else. I'm not going to even look intraday because that's not going to matter tomorrow. At first time the news comes, it's not going to matter. It's just going to go and look for high time frame pivots to pump the brakes. Checking NIO. We also have earnings this week. If you can load the chart. All right. Keeps gravitating on this zone here. So this is the most important zone on the stock. You see how it keeps gravitating towards that zone? So right now it's below it. Couldn't hold. Right now it's at the last line of defense. Oops, not this one. So right now, where is it? Right now it's at the last line of defense, which is right here. This little pocket here, but 303 to 305. You could even say $3, which is the whole number, if you want to be the last line of support. What is this? 24. Oh, that's also tomorrow, before market open. So let's do the same thing. 48 cents. Okay. So 48 cents, if we lose, that would be 260, which will match with this pivot here. So if we lose, we're probably gonna test the 250 to 267, 270. Let's say 250 to 270. Overshoot at 230. If we beat, then we're gonna probably test first this pivot 350, and then the next thing I have, I think, is all over the 370. So the overshoot is gonna be at 380, 375, 370, so 370, 380, and the target is 350 if it beats earning. Nike. It looks like it's going towards this yearly pivot. 8609. Where is my Roku? Did I? Oh, of course I did. It looks like it's going towards that line. Let's mark that. 8609. Earnings. Also, no, this one is after, so we're going to be able to see setups during the day. So it does look like it wants to go towards the 8609. Let's borrow this one. So this is going to be key resistance tomorrow, 8670. Then you have the 87. Then you're going to have here 8710, 8729 as your next key resistance. So you only going to see a run into earnings if we break above the 8710, 8729. And we're going to see a sell into earnings if we break below 8609. If we don't do any of those, then we're going to stay in range between 8609 and 29 until earnings reporting. Now let's see. Expected move $4.10. So if we beat, this is the problem. We don't know where it's gonna close, but let's say we're gonna close between this zone, the range that we talked about, right? Between the 85, let's say 85.29, 86.10. So about $1.50 of a range. We have $4. You can say the target is gonna be on an earnings beat 90.25, overshoot at 91.73. And it's going to be a really overshoot if you go to 96 and 98. This is the strongest level right here. If you go there and you are holding your calls, just make sure to take some. See how strong this purple line is going to be? 1, 2, 3 tops right there. So it would be nice to see that crazy push up on earnings beat and then hold the retest. We can say no lower than the previous highs. So it makes a little zone between here and this pivot, and then another leg up. And if we miss earnings, we can expect, let's see, between 79.50 and 80.91. Overshoot at 77.38. Let's see, Tesla. So tomorrow's key zone is going to be 87.10, 87.29. So if you want to go long, watch for a setup, hold and break and hold of that. If you want to short, wait for a break below or retest and couldn't hold of that zone. Tesla. Everything went crazy Friday. Tesla keeps not being able to break this. Okay. So Tesla is going to have a problem on the retest of this zone here. 242.32, 243.03. So let's mark our key support, key resistances for tomorrow. Key resistance is going to start all the way here. 241.68, 241.91, 242.32, 243.08. So if you want to short, ideally you want to push to here, and then you can take a low risk short. If you want to go long, it doesn't have too much to do about it. Maybe a retest of the previous low and this key pivot. So 238.16 to 238.88. So if you're looking for long, ideally a hold of this retest or break and hold of this zone. So if it pushes above it here, you don't need to wait a break of this, because then you're going to play the breakout, right? What you can do is watch for any retest on these lower pivots that hold support. If you see any consolidation taking place at the bottom of this zone, then you can take a long and have your stop loss right below it. And then you can ride above it, probably break out, test, and then go right there. If we can't hold, then most likely we're gonna go lower. If you take a short on this setup over here, then make sure you take a partial at this area, 238.16 to 238.88. And if that doesn't hold, we are looking at the 232 to 34. Let's check RBZ, some penny stocks. All right, that was a nice Nice push Friday. Which color I have? Oh, I don't want this one. I want the blue one. So this is gonna be the next resistance, 294. Right there. So you're gonna have a triple pivot resistance between 294 and 323. You even have this one here. That's the problem with those little ones, is that there's it gives one step and there's another speed bump ahead. But those are the levels. If you can take level by level, don't need to wait for the entire zone. So we have 294, $3, 313, 324, and 336. Once we break this, the range is going to be bigger. The next one is going to be 380, and then 420, 415. The key support is going to be 241 to 256. So this is our key support right here on RBZ. If you're looking for a long and it dips on this zone, keep your eye on it for reversal signs, like either consolidation. You see the level 2 showing support on the bid side. Anything that you like to use as your entries, for your entries. So watch for that support, key resistance right above it. Last line of defense is going to be $2. So if we lose this, most likely we're going to go 2 to 217. So if it breaks, you don't want to be on it because it can go quickly. CRC. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be called key support or key resistance, but let's call key zone. The key zone or CRC is 1115, 1137, 1149, so 1150. Key zone is right here. Above it, we're going to go to 1212, 1228, and 13. Below it, we're going to go test the 10 handle. 10, yeah. 950 being the last line of defense. Let me see my messages. Yeah, energies are getting beat up. SSI. CMG is one of my favorite setups of the week. We're going to get there. We're going to talk about it. So this thing went parabolic. It did a nice round bottom here. And then just went. Now key resistance. This is going to be the key resistance, which is the big orange. Big orange is our strongest pivot on the board. So key resistance is going to be 155, 158. We don't have, which one is AMRN? AMRN has a pivot, a big orange. There you go. Let's see, 158. Right there. So that's our key resistance. 155, 158. Key support is going to be here, 132, 139. Last line of defense is going to be 116, 123. Above 158, we have this 163, 165, and then a few small speed bumps intraday, and we're gonna have the 185, 186. Yeah. Let's check TTD. Oh, so this is the 200 of the daily chart. This is 4 hour, but I put a 200 on the daily chart there. And you have this pivot support here, which is what interests more to me. Grab a blue one. Right here. So we have this, and we have a purple support as well. Right here. So we're gonna have a cluster from 193 to 70, 195, 195.50, 196, 98, on top of that 200 daily moving average, which is 199.34. You have also this pivot, I forgot to mark it, which is the one that matches the 200. Bounce over here. So that's going to be interesting to watch tomorrow. What we are watching is either reclaim of this zone, because it's right above, right there, or a dip and hold of 199.70. If we can't hold that, we're going to look for a dip buy at the 193.70 to 196.98. So key resistance is going to be right here, 206.78 to 208.38. If we break and hold above it, then we're gonna go 212, 214. So that's a big mover. 210 is gonna have a small speed bump on it. So if you wanna take a partial at 210, that would be nice too. There'll be what, 4 points, 3 points and a half from there. And key support is gonna be those ones we talk about right there. So if you want to put in a mark on your chart, you have 193.70, 195.04, 195.51, 196.98. And this is the one that is near the 200, 199.70. So you have a lot of support around this area. And so let's keep on watch. It can be interesting tomorrow. And it moves fast, which is good. It has a nice range. Let's check CMG. So why do I like CMG at this point? As you guys remember, we took multiple shorts on CMG at this 842.31 yearly pivot, and we were very successful. Now we are back there, and we reject twice. This was on the 17th. No, this was on the 18th, and this was on the 20th. So this is Friday, and this is Wednesday. So Wednesday and Friday tried to break and couldn't it couldn't even get close to there, but it's still doing this. So what we're looking for is this pattern once more. If we can break above it and hold, then most likely we're gonna do something like this. Come here, keeps grinding. If it can't hold, then we're gonna look for a short setup to these lower levels. If it breaks and hold, then yeah, we're gonna try that 850 one more time, which is the one that keeps pushing, but it can't hold the 850. So the key support for this is going to be 833.34, 835.52. Key resistance is going to be 840 to 842.31. So we're going to watch for a setup on this, and hopefully if it's a short, we're going to write it to the 820s first target. That would be our first target. If you want, you can always take partials on the daily speed bumps, wait 829, 825. Let me see. If we break and hold above, then we're going to test the 850, and then we have 855, which is going to be 855.99, which is going to be the next speed bump. High time frame 868, 877, 888. Those will be the upside targets. Let's check NVDA. So NVDA is entering that zone, the buy zone, right here. Let me extend because this is old. Right there. See the big orange? Once you have that confirmation that it couldn't hold, you could short it over here on this retest and fail, and then write it down. So if we can't hold this, it has a very nice chance you may test that 50 moving average, which is at 68, 168.50, and you have a pivot at 167.54, which can form a nice little debuy zone. So for now, we're looking for a long until we are above 171.12. Once we close below that, we are not interested anymore on the long side. Okay, so if we gap down and we test lower levels here, you could enter, or even on a sell, let's say you gap up and sell back to here. You can enter a long with a stop right below it, maybe 170.50. And if you want to go long from here, which is our first plan, we buy inside the zone, or preferably close as the lowest portion of the zone as possible. If we can get there before market open, if you're playing options, you probably want to see what happens if it's above the zone. You probably want to see a retest and hold of the zone before you're buying. Now intraday, these are key support. Key resistance is going to be right above it, 174.12, 174.31. Then you have 175.54, 176.72, and the 178.18, 178.77. Below it, if we break that, we're going to have the 169.45, 169.77, and then the 167.54, which is going to be near on inside that zone, the 50 moving average zone with the pivot. So it's only 5 more. So YUMA. We did this before. This is old stuff, but it's still the key. Right now it's going to be key support because we're above it. So this now turns into key support. And this is going to be the key resistance right here. Break of this, 591. And then 723, 765. So if you take a long on the retest and hold of this, you need to take partials at 591 or close. And if it breaks and hold, then you can take another partial on this highs here. So key support you can say is 489, 560, which is that zone. Last line of defense is going to be 469, 474, and the lower zone is going to be here. Now above it, we're going to have that 585, 591, and then the 720, 765, 842, 841, 851. So for it to run, to do another leg up, it needs to break and hold above this zone, because it can just do like a lower high here and then go back down. So you have to be careful with that one. Let's check Google. So it's trading below the pivot, the yearly pivot. It's a lot of overhead. That's 1231.71. Yeah, they didn't fix that. So 1231.71, and you have the right here. So this is the key resistance. 1230.22, 1231.71. You have the pivot at 1232. So you can say 1230 to 1232. You have important support at 1225. And if we lose that, most likely we're going to go test lows here at 1216, 1219. So this is the key zone right here. Above it, we have 1236.97 and 1243.50, which is where it rejected last time, right there on the pivot. Let's zoom in, right there. See, that's an awesome short setup. Couldn't break, couldn't break, couldn't break. Then you can try and put a loss right above it. It would just trail back down. Never got stopped out, even if you hold overnight, if you decide to hold a piece of it. So we'll see. If you can't break above this, we're gonna just see that set up like this. So keep an eye on that. Let's see, REGN. Brought to you by Short Hammer. So it's testing a very important key resistance right there. 296.27, 298.10. So far, it couldn't do it. So now this is going to be interesting. Do we define our key support over here or over here, right? Because this is the key. This is the main weekly pivot at 291.34. But then this is going to be too big of a zone. So let's set up 293.40, 294.46 at our key support, and last line of defense 291.34. I think that works better than having a huge zone. Key resistance 296.27, 298.10. If we break above that, we always have the 300 whole number, and then we have 302.17. But this is the The next key resistance is going to be above here. 304, 306, 35. And then the 309.50. 309.50, yeah. Below it. Below that, we can say 288. Yeah, I like this level here. It had to be the wrong color, huh? $288.01 is gonna be the next stop if we lose the last line of defense. Then 284, 280, and then 271, 274. So it's a big mover. That's why this type of stock I always like to get into extremes. Look where it bounced from here, guys, right at the pivot. It's just ridiculous. So this shows to you how strong is this zone here. If you extend this, look at all these interactions. Here, 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 here. Then come back. Base, push, go, couldn't hold, come back down. Now it's retesting. So it really needs to go. Are we gonna do that leg down? It's still doing probably a higher low, but maybe do a retracement before pushing to the higher levels. That would be the first plan. Yeah, sure, we can check BABA. We have CRM, FRAN, and then we check BABA after. CRM. So CRM has this resistance zone right here. So the key resistance CRM is going to be this 155.93, 156.28. Key support is down here. Let's go this way so we know exactly what it is. Key support is 153.93, 154.22. The daily main zone is going to be at 155.07, 155.23. And this is our key resistance. So those are the main levels to watch on CRM. So far, it rejected the level. So right as of right now, we are bearish on it until it breaks above it. Maybe it does a retracement too here before it tries to push again. So let's keep an eye on that for a dip buy. Yeah, we'll see if we can hold here and then have the next push to the 161s. Let's check FRAN. Now don't get married with direction. That's why we always do a plan for long and short. We're just gonna play whatever the market gives us. We are not trying to fight against it. So FRAN had a crazy run, and now it's back to this key zone here. Let me change this real quick. Which is 1141, 1222. If you can hold that, most likely we're going to retest the nines, the low nines, which is here. 908, 954. Now, if you hold here, most likely it's going to retest the 1326. So it has a nice range up and down. And that's why it is a good one to keep on watch tomorrow. You have key resistance here, 13, that we say is the next target. If we can hold the bottom, we can try to ride it up. Take a partial on here, 1225, 1260, and see if we can get this 1310. If we break 1310, the next level will be 1390 and then 1450. And let's check BABA. So key resistance, key support right here. 179.61, 180.86. You also have the weekly main pivot at 180.67. So this top here would be nice if you can hold top of this zone because of that reason. So test here and then do a push. If you can hold, most likely retest 176, 178. And then we have a midpoint here that is not marked. Let me grab that really quick. 1 second. Trying to find where it was. Right here. Okay. So 174.69 is that midpoint, which was exactly where it bounced last time. That's funny. So yeah, see if it holds this zone for another push up. This was a good short on this zone here. So, but it was bought right back up. So there's a lot of buyers sitting on this lower zone, the 179.61, 180.66. So let's see if we get a retest and hold the retest over here. You can even look for a higher entry at 181.50, 181.75 if it holds there. And trade from there, partials around on the top of the zone. So I guess that's it, guys. Thank you so much for participating. I see you all tomorrow, 7 a.m. EST for pre-market trading. Thank you so much and enjoy your week. Oh, your weekend, sorry, the rest of your weekend. See you tomorrow. Take care.